GCI has caught the attention of the coaster industry and the attention of many coaster enthusiasts after putting out their new hybrid track on the market, which was later named Titan Track. We heard about this being in the works a year or two back at IAAPA, so this wasn't the biggest surprise of the year. We had to see this track in action at Fun Spot Orlando, with a small portion of White Lightning receiving the track. Reviews came back very positive, so this had people thinking about when we might see more of this track, how much will we see of it, and if we could even see ground-up coasters come out of it. We heard that in an interview that Predator at Darien Lake would be worked on with this track, so this led us to believe that Six Flags could be working with GCI on this concept in the future. Well, today, I'm going to tell you why the Titan track won't be successful and will be considered a bust. I'm not really saying that the Titan track will give a poor experience, but I mean it'll be more of a financial failure for GCI. At the end of the video, I'll talk about some potential solutions I see for the track that can solve the problems that I'll mention, so stick around to the end for that. I have a lot in store for today, but I'd appreciate if you could give me a like and subscribe to the channel for more prediction and analysis content like this coming in the near future. Now, before we talk about any future predictions, let's take a look at what we've seen from the other major attempt at using hybrid track in recent history with RMC, and look at why they were successful. Back in 2009, Alan Schilke started working with RMC. Him and Fred Grubb worked together to develop the iBox track, which was the first modern-day hybrid track concept. Six Flags found intrigue in this and decided to have RMC install their iBox track on Texas Giant, Six Flags Over Texas's giant wooden coaster. This coaster was notorious for being rough, and Six Flags turned to RMC to fix its attraction. New for the 2011 season, New Texas Giant was born. RMC took the track off Texas Giant and replaced it with iBox track. This ride proved to be a major success. RMC had transformed a bad ride into one of the best rides in the park with their new track for only $5.5 million. Six Flags has taken a chance and it had paid off big time. RMC and Six Flags continue to work together to this day, building a total of 7 hybrid redos for the company. RMC was able to rise to the top of the industry with this track and are now considered to be one of the best manufacturers out there. GCI saw this as an opportunity to create their own hybrid track called Titan Track, and they are now ready to install it on demand. This brings us to where we are today. Making their own hybrid track may seem like a foolproof plan based on what we've seen from RMC, but there are many issues with this idea. The first issue is obviously who are they up against. RMC is one of the most innovative manufacturers in the world, and that is saying a lot. RMC is an established manufacturer of renovating wooden coasters, so there's not much reason to switch to an unproven model. RMC is probably about 10 years or so ahead of GCI, so unless they have something up their sleeve, they don't have much to offer over them. The biggest issue with competing with RMC is that they don't have Alan Schilke working for them. Take out the idea of smaller redos for a minute and just pretend both companies have to design layouts for full redos. I'm definitely going to take the side that has Alan Schilke. This guy has made every manufacturer he's been to great, and nobody has been able to consistently match his brilliance. He took weak aero track and made great rides out of it. GCI has designed some solid layouts in their day, but one of their best has been the twister layouts for compact wooden coasters. Hybrids are a whole different ballgame. They try to focus on airtime and inversions, and that's something GCI isn't known well for. Not to say that GCI can't come up with some decent layouts, because they definitely could, but RMC is on a whole different level with Alan Schilke. It's kind of like GCI copied RMC's homework but missed a few key details. Alan Schilke nails every single bend and curve of the track, and that's just so hard to match. They would have to figure out a way to compete with RMC in just a short amount of time. They won't get that many projects, so they'll have to learn fast. That brings me to my next point, which is the number of potential projects isn't going to be able to sustain the business. There aren't many coasters left for GCI to work on, at least in America. I think GCI will struggle to get ground-up project bids until they perfected the Titan Track redo. Here's the issue with that. The best way for GCI to get their start is working with partial retracks, like the one they did on White Lightning and the one they are doing on Predator. Here's the problem though. How many parks are actually going to be willing to give up the right to brag about having a wooden coaster? I don't think many will. There's not many good candidates for this. Predator fits because Six Flags is looking for a test which may or may not pay off, but I'll get to that later in the video. Anyways, if a park wanted a full hybrid retracking done on one of their coasters, why not call RMC? See what I mean now? I just don't see the market for the track right now. Now, if GCI can offer something different than RMC, like more creative versions, launches like they already have stated, or some other benefit, that might improve their chances of getting more projects. Even then, there's probably only about 10 to 15 coasters in the US that would be considered for a hybrid coaster treatment right now, and most of those parks have been looking to RMC. Something that shows that there's not many projects to go around is that RMC only seems to get 1 or 2 redo projects a year now, and that number will probably decrease due to the pandemic. This makes really poor timing because not many parks are looking to get big additions or try something new that could result in failure. But for the ones that are, once again, why not look to old reliable with RMC and boost revenue that way? This leads me to my next point, which is cost. This can be looked at as a positive or a negative when it's all said and done. GCI's one shot is to provide a lower cost option than RMC does. Unfortunately, this could be very challenging. RMC is known for making world-class coasters for under $10 million, and that is a very tough challenge to beat. I can't imagine these partial redos for GCI will cost that much, so they have the upper hand in that. Now for full redos, I could see it going either way. If they just copy and paste old layouts, then it probably won't cost that much, but if they get creative, which they probably will have to, the cost will rise. A higher cost might turn off smaller parks. GCI hasn't made that many rides at smaller parks, so they probably need to find bigger chain parks to work with, and that just makes it a lot harder to have success. GCI will need to make the Titan track a value product to have the best chance for success. RMC's a great value, so GCI will probably have to beat it to have a shot. Like I mentioned earlier, most parks are doing worse than ever financially, and the industry won't be too forgiving of new projects that don't work out well. Now I'm going to shine a bit of light on a possible opportunity for this track to succeed. We now know that GCI will implement the Titan track on Predator. To me, it looks like Six Flags wants to use this as a test to see what GCI has to offer and see if the track is worthy of full-scale additions. I think this should provide some optimism around the project because many thought that Predator would be one of the next coasters to receive the RMC treatment, but it looks like GCI will get their crack at it. I'm thinking that we could see a lot of high problem areas of track get the treatment. I'd say anything after the first airtime hill will be fair game. One area that I think will definitely get the retracking is the helix, so this should give us a shot to see what this track is really all about. Now here's why this is so key for GCI. Six Flags has a lot of coasters that are subject for the treatment. Six Flags may also be looking for retracking so they can market them as new coasters without spending too much. This will probably be particularly interesting to the chain because GCI will probably be able to offer all of these new records that could be used as marketing tools. A few keys for the success of the track to be successful with Six Flags is the cost and marketability of the new rides. Six Flags always looks for a cheap fix, and if GCI can offer this, they stand a shot at being successful. However, I do think there are some reasons why this partnership might not work, and spoiler alert, it's most of the same reasons I mentioned before. I don't see the Titan track being able to survive with RMC in the business unless Six Flags sees value in choosing them over everyone else. Let's take a look at why GCI has been successful in the past. GCI made unique twister coasters that caught the attention of parks for the uniqueness and fast pacing. GCI isn't really repeating the same formula with the Titan track. I don't really see the Titan track working in the long run. In my opinion, what will determine the success of the Titan track will ultimately be how GCI is able to use it in different ways to differentiate from RMC. RMC is too much of a monster to take head on. GCI needs to find things that RMC isn't doing and thrive off of that. The partial retracts could be a start if there are enough jobs to go around. But RMC is starting to do this as well with their own wooden coasters, like what they're doing with Lightning Rod by putting a hybrid track over the old wood track. I'm not sure if this will mean anything for the future of GCI, but it's something to take note of. But maybe GCI could start redoing their own coasters. That could work very well for them. People complain a lot of the old GCIs, like Wildcat at Hershey Park, are rough, so they might find a market for rides like those. If parks don't want to RMC the rides and keep the same layout, this could work for them. Take Predator for an example. Predator isn't a great ride, but it still gets good enough ridership and love to not be worthy of removal. If GCI could smooth out the rough patches and potentially give the ride new trains and a big facelift, then we might be in business because that isn't a specialty of any other company right now that I know of. The other key to success could be the launch feature on ground up coasters. Some parks may be looking for ground up launch coasters that pack in a lot of airtime, so this could be a very good idea for some parks. This could work because Intamin is doing it with their Hot Racer compared to the RMC Raptor, and they both seem to be working as of now. I don't see inversions being the huge selling point because almost every good coaster company can do great inversions, and GCI doesn't have that much experience making inversions. My keys for the Titan track success are renovations and launches. Both could be valuable to a company like Six Flags. One of the better things us enthusiasts get out of this is competition. RMC and GCI will both be looking to up their game to appeal to parks, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out. I don't want GCI's hybrid track to fail, and in fact, I think it could actually provide a good ride experience. They just need to find a niche in the industry and roll with it, so everyone will end up being happy. That's just my opinion of GCI's Titan track. I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. I could see a lot of different opinions on this, so make sure to keep your comments friendly, and please respect me and the other people in the comments. I really appreciate you for making it to the end of this video, and for that, you may as well just drop a like, and subscribe to the channel for more analysis content like this coming soon. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.